124 from memory. And as you know, the first Monday of every month, we dedicate to all things health with a wonderful collaboration with Sister Tracy from Health Hub Bali. And if you don't know what Health Hub Bali is, she will explain pretty soon. So now, as you know, this is number 27 in our health series. So if you're wondering what we've done in the past 26, go online, go to SpeakuP Monday, and you'll find the past 26 episodes, but incredible episodes on health, really, really incredible. Now, we've also spoken in the last few episodes about this Bali Integrative medical tourism model, which is comprising 3: wellness tourism in no particular order, wellness tourism, health tourism, and medical tourism. And we've also spoken about the unique opportunity and environment that Bali provides with this wonderful energy, 7 ley lines of energy that underpin it all, and obviously the culture that locks everything in, that just allows your nervous system to relax. So then when we bring in this West meets East model on top of that, then it's something which is very powerful and very unique to Bali. If you want to know more about that, just go back and check Bali's Integrative Medical Tourism Model. Dr. Patra, the chairman of Bali Medical Tourism Association, been on the show a couple of times, wonderful man, will tell you all about it. It's really good. But let's get on to what we're going to discuss this week. So, as we mentioned before, this is a health tourism platform and SpeakuP Monday. Now tonight we have Peggy, Kai, and obviously Tracy, which I'm going to allow to introduce themselves shortly. But again, my name is Robert Ian Bonnick, as you know, the founder and host most of the time of SpeakuP Monday, and also RIB and Associates, which is a growth strategist in Indonesia, helping companies, medium to large, either come into Indonesia and grow, or those Indonesian companies already here to grow within Indonesia in about 10 different market sectors by connecting the dots, right? Okay, so tonight's episode, let's get into it. And usually I would definitely go ladies first, but Kai's just there looking at me,
yeah.
the other bookend. So I think we'll start with him, and then Peggy will end with you. So just 1 or 2 minutes or so, just to give us a bit of a background into your background and how you found yourself to be here tonight. Thank you.
So my name's Kai Jordan. Thank you guys for being here. I started out about 13 years ago in holistic health. I started out with body work, but soon worked my way through all different sorts of modalities, working with emotions, with mind, with high performance athletes, etc. And I've pretty much explored the majority of what you could explore in terms of different modalities, and I combine them all so that I can work with clients to activate their innate healing systems and also bring them into a state of coherence and nervous system regulation. My wife and I also are relationship mentors. We have a business called Devotional Love, so we're working on the relationship side of things. After things are healed, we help people create healthy dynamics, healthy relationships, healthy families. So I'm coming from different perspectives, and we'll share what I can.
Thank you, Kai. And if you pass the microphone to Tracy. Yeah, so Tracy, maybe a little bit about you. Even though, we do this a lot, but there's always people that will see you for the first time. So it's great just to kind of go back over some ground. And also, after that, maybe a little bit about what Health Hub Bali is doing. So you first.
Can I ask Peggy go first, and then I'll tie it up? Is that all right?
All right, Tracy wants to leave herself to last. That is super fine. Peggy, the same question to you, my dear.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I know, she always does this.
Well,
we like to keep it loose here and a bit relaxed, yeah. Health is a very important topic that we take very seriously, but maybe we don't take ourselves too seriously, right? Okay, over to you, my dear.
Yes,
Sometimes
yes. Yeah, welcome. Nice to see you all. So my name is Peggy Marienfeld. I'm German, but relocated to Bali in 2005, so I'm quite a while here. And I worked as a naturopathic doctor in Germany before 13 years, close to Frankfurt. I had my clinic, very successful. But Bali was calling somehow. And yeah, I'm here practically 19 years, and created.
So 19 years you've been here, right?
Right.
That's a while. How did Bali call you? Just out of interest, was it like someone said you got to go to Bali, or was it literally you saw something? Or can you? I know it's not what we planned to do, but we just write it like this. But I'd like to know because it's the first time that I've met you.
Right. Well, I came here first as a tourist, obviously, and felt totally in love. I loved the island, I loved the people, the culture, everything. Back then it was also a different story. But so we came every year for vacation, and one day we decided, why not moving there, you know? And this time I had already 2 kids. And I didn't saw them growing up in the West kind of thing. I want to have them out of the European culture and experience just growing up. You know, it's a difference, especially back then how Bali was. So it's the decision I made. And of course I started my little healing practice, first slowly me alone. After a couple of years I got an osteopath on board. Then I got a TCM specialist on board, acupuncture. Then we got energy healing, Reiki, Theta healing. And the clinic grew and grew. Now we have actually a hypnotherapist, PTSD specialist. So it's amazing. And this was always my dream, to create actually one healing place where people can come in and they can get a holistic treatment, whatever their need is, emotionally, physically. My newest baby is actually Bali Healing Beauty, which beauty, not really beauty. Beauty comes from inside, though. Yeah. So we created a clinic what's focusing on detoxification, on IV treatment, ozone therapy, and peptide treatments of practically all natural, but also goes in the direction of anti-aging, detoxification.
You know, what makes me smile, right, is, as you mentioned, you know, you came here like 19 years ago. You have kids like that, right? We'll talk about that later. But as you mentioned, you know, you've built up this clinic, Bali Healing, and obviously you've added these wonderful modalities into it as well, and it's grown to become a lot bigger than maybe what you first imagined. And as I understand it, you know, there's a bit of a waiting list, so it's not something you can get straight into. It's like, Peggy, I'm on a waiting list, right, to see Peggy. So what would you say, you know, has been, you know, if you think about success, okay, because it's the health arena, and you've done very well, maybe people looking in the audience here or looking online. So what would you say, you know, has been responsible for your success?
I think it is the experience also working so long in the industry, and of course it was very challenging coming here from the laws, government regulations to create actually the space, because there is a little bit of hiccups in the system. But it was worse. It's just my passion. I love what I'm doing, and I have every day these happy patients and clients, and this drives you. I think that's kind of what drives us. I couldn't do anything else. It's just my life, and I think it's just made it all happening. And you know, you meet the right people at the right time, and kind of they're helping you along, and kind of now we have a huge team. I mean, we're 30 people now.
Ooh, 30 people.
30.
Mamma mia. Woo.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you, because it's the first time they've been on the show. Kai, we've seen a few times. Tracy's been on, I think, 26 times. So it's nice to hear from you. It's nice for people to hear from you as well. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, so Sister Tracy, I'm over to you. It's a little intro about you, and then also what Health Hub Bali is doing, and then we'll get on to tonight's episode.
My name's Tracy G. I'm here for more than a decade. My background is in functional medicine and health, and this platform we've set up here in Bali is to connect people to better health. The thing is that many people are what we call health seekers or vitality seekers these days. They're looking for something more on the health side of things. So when they're coming to Bali, in the past they were looking for sometimes Balians and healers and that, but these days there are some serious issues, and the platform here is to showcase what Bali has got to offer in the medical, in the health, and in the wellness side. So the entry point here is functional medicine. We're talking about testing, educating people what options there are, and then where they can go for this, what we call whole health model care. And why we've got, I say Dr. Peggy, because doctor's a teacher, and she's a teacher to people that they can understand what's happening in their body, why their body's stuck like that, and then it's really a journey to health, yeah.
And tonight, as you mentioned, is all about your journey to health, right? So let's get started, even though we've sort of started already. So I think the first question was, what is health? So who would you like to attention that one to get us started? Maybe she's looking at Kai. Kai, you're on, buddy.
I always like to look at things at where people are at. So health is not one thing for all people. It depends where you're at. If you have a disease or if you're in an acute condition, obviously health would just be to get rid of whatever symptomology or whatever disease you have. But when you're not suffering from that, maybe you have some mental instability or emotional dysregulation, then health would be to get to a place of peace. Once you hit peace, then health is something else. It's becoming about optimizing your performance. It's about becoming whole as a person in your mind, your body, emotions, in your work, your relationship, your family, your life. So there's different stages of health, and depending on where you start from, there's different protocols. And you can't approach one person in this stage the same way you approach someone in that stage. So it's really important to understand which stage you're in to understand what kind of treatments you should seek. And I think that's what part of this is about. It's about the testing. It's about understanding where am I actually at in the health spectrum, so that I can start to identify what are the necessary procedures or what's the necessary treatments that I can take to get me to the next level. And oftentimes when people start their healing journey, they're not really aware of where they're at. They're not aware of what the options are. So I think just having a map in general is the first step. And that when I work with anyone, the first thing I do is I find out where they're at. I have to really identify where they're at in their journey, mentally, emotionally, physically. And then from there, I can see where the steps are, what's the next step for them. So.
Thank you. All right, so we're passing to Peggy. So this time, you're now Sister Peggy, okay? You've been on the show, you're now Sister Peggy, so that's it, right? So so the question is, so what is health for you? Yeah.
Health as well, so that's pretty much. Yeah, I totally agree with you, if somebody seeks health or help, then you have really to read. It's like mapping a person and see where this person actually is and pick it up on the right point, because everybody is on a different level or has a different understanding what actually health is. It's physical, it's mentally, it's socially. So it's all has to be in a holistic point brought together. And I think that's why I created actually the center, to have all these modalities in one place. Besides the dentist, I don't have, but
looking for a dentist, anyone? Just to add to the practice. I know a dentist sitting over there.
Yeah. No, that's really a lack in Bali, a holistic dentist. This is a big problem because teeth, but it's the other thematic, to go in this, to find actually someone who can holistically treat people on this side. So that's missing. But that was the idea of the center, to create a place where people can heal on all different kind of levels.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Sister Tracy, health.
So when we're looking at the word health, we've mentioned in earlier panels, we're talking heal. That's where the healing part. So we've got a healing centre here. But often people not addressing health, they're going through life. They're just living whatever way they're living. Then they have some kind of, whether it's a diagnosis or some kind of emergency. And that's what last month, this is actually part 2 of last month, which was beyond the triage, beyond the emergency, what next? So someone comes with a diagnosis that motivates them, where do they go? They've gone to the hospital, they've had the treatments and that, what next? So how can we connect what we call a healing journey? That we can go into that.
Just because we like to keep the audience remember, you can come, it's free, and we'd love to have you, because it's the networking within, obviously to the guests, illustrious guests before us, right? The panelists, the experts, but also those who come. So if you're sitting at home and you get moved by one episode, come and watch it, because no matter if there's 10 people or 100 people, like, it's the people that you need to see, maybe to connect with, right, to partner with, who knows, right? But just out of interest, so when we say health, just shout it out and I'll just repeat it on the microphone. What is health to you? Maybe like in 1 word, 2 words, what is health to you? Tony, put you on the spot. What is health? Happiness. Strength, physique. Thriving, not surviving.
Yeah, I'll say happiness.
Happiness. Contentment. Jonathan, what's health to you?
Well, when I had the...
One word.
Walking.
Walking. Thank you. Health to you, brother.
Same with her. Contentment.
Contentment. Dia. Health is wealth. Balance. Joy. Right. So Tracy knows this, right? I was going through what I call an immune system upgrade recently, right? Immune system upgrade, and Tracy was giving me some colloidal silver and this nebulizer. Nebulizer sounds like something out of Star Trek. She's like, Rob, take this nebulizer and like suck in colloidal silver. I'm like, nebulizer? What, are you going to beam me up? So nebulizer is one of these kind of things you put over you, and colloidal silver, breathe it in. So it's interesting because, then a day or so later, like, health to me is when I don't even think about health. You just do, right? But when I was going through this immune system upgrade, nothing serious, by the way, I felt my body aching, I felt this, I felt that. So for me, health is something where I'm not even thinking about how I feel, I just, in motion, I just do, yeah.
And that's the thing here in Bali. People are coming to Bali as health seekers. They don't really know what they're looking for. When Peggy's seeing people, they're actually living here or something and they're not okay. And sometimes we can't have an 8-week wait list for someone. Things happen very quickly. So we need more of Peggy here, by the way. So that's why telemedicine, second opinions are coming into state as well. But really, in the past, we know the body, it's about coming back into balance to a state that we're functioning the best that we can. That's really part of it.
Next question. So what are the steps to healing? Maybe just before you do that, what is healing? I mean, I think we know, but I think it's better to have everybody on the same page, right, than just going off on healing is this.
For me, healing is something that everyone is born with the capacity to do. And throughout people's lives, they come to a place where that they start to lose that ability, that innate ability, for various reasons. It can be environmental factors, it can be internal factors, it can be traumatic experiences, it could be toxins in the body. So there are different reasons why the body doesn't do what it's meant to do. But anyone who's born and you cut your finger, you're a healer. And there's not any, just because there's people that have trained in healing, they're not necessarily better healers than others. They understand the process of healing. And a healer's job is to bring out the natural healing mechanism in the body. When I studied all the different modalities, what unified it for me was I understood that everything that a modality does is it creates the conditions for healing to occur within the person. Any modality that works, all it's doing is creating conditions. So a little bit like a gardener, like when you plant a garden, you have to create certain conditions if you want it to grow. The body is the same way. If you create or know how to create the right conditions, it will heal itself. If you're in the wrong conditions, no matter what you do, it will not heal. And that's where, in the initial acute phase, we have to work with pathogens. We have to work with things that might be external to the body that are affecting its ability to function. But when we get past those acute issues, now we're looking at how does the mind and the body and the nervous system work to heal itself. From a chiropractic method philosophy, we're looking at the ability for the brain to communicate down the brainstem to all of the different various parts. If there's an impingement, or what they would, I think the word they use is I can't remember, but it's an inflection. I can't remember what the word is. Subluxation. If there's a subluxation, it means a part of the nervous system is unable to communicate with a part of the body that is diseased, in distress. And so they're trying to reconnect the pathway so the brain can carry out its normal function. And if you think about that, we all have this capacity to heal if there is the right pathway for healing. But what is obstructing it? Could be physical trauma, could be, toxins, like I said, environmental factors, could be relational aspects, stress, shutting down the body, blocked emotions. So once we get past that phase, we look at the environment, which is your work, your relationships. Are you in a situation that is causing stress? If a fish is in a toxic pond, doesn't matter what you give it, it's not going to be able to heal itself or stay healed. So we have to look at the environmental factors. So I think there's really like three distinct components, which is one is acute. Is there anything external that has to be eradicated? Two is internally, how is the mechanism preventing itself from healing? How can we get that back into coherence and communication? And then the third is the environment. I don't know how many times I've seen people come to a retreat. They make all this progress, they go back to their home. They're back in 2 weeks. They're back to where they were. Why? The environment is it's such a powerful, it's called a morphogenetic field. It's such a powerful memory field that you start to fall back into your old habits. So your nervous system, your mind, your thoughts, your emotions start to fall back into that pattern of energy, and you recreate the problem. So to sustain health is one thing, to remove symptoms is another. What most people are looking at is how to remove symptoms, but what we want to look at is how to create health.
Now, just making sure everyone's with us, subluxation. I'm pretty sure you're glad he didn't know, right? Had you said, subluxation, half of you be like, yeah, I know exactly what he meant. I have no idea. I have no clue. Morphogenetic field. I'm glad you explained that one before. Hey, you think it's hard for you? I have to try and think of I know what I'm looking like I'm talking about here. Thank you, Brother Kai. All right, awesome. So, Peggy, we're looking at the steps to healing. Morphogenetic. Do not mention morphogenetic field. Do not mention sublux. Well, now you can mention subluxation if you want. Over to you, my dear. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You explained it beautifully. I can actually not say much on top of it because it is these factors of mental stage, the relationships, what pathogens in your body, what toxins. I mean, we're testing pretty much every person in our clinic on heavy metal intoxication, and I just can tell you, everybody is full. We did not any test get back so far what was okay. And this is a big concern because when you look about what toxins are accumulating in the body doing, then it's concerning. It disturbs our microbiomes, it disturbs our hormones, so the hormone disruptors, it disturbs our ATP production, which is important for our mitochondria. So there is so much impact from the toxic exposure nowadays that we are concerned. And that's not just heavy metals, there's also pesticides, insecticides, all chemicals, what we put on our skin and everything. This is so many things. And we see in the clinic how much it affects the health of somebody. And we need to look in all these aspects. And of course, the emotional, the blockages, the environment is so important that we change it, on a holistic way. Again, we need so many different dualities to heal. And this depends on the person, obviously, a lot, who comes in, to pick up, what is the first step. Because sometimes I experience people coming in, they're so busy, they're so stressed out, you can explain them a little bit what's going on, and then it's already too much. If I would then start talking about diet, they're already gone, So you have to also take it very individual and go on a journey. And as I say always, we're not healing people, they heal themselves. We're just giving directions. Yeah. If you have a fracture, the doctor doesn't heal your fracture. It just gives you a cast and you heal yourself. So it's just like a crutch. Just we help here and there and give a little bit ping, look in this direction or go there. And that's what I feel we are. We're not doctors. I wouldn't put myself there, We're just helping people to find the right journey.
Thank you, Peggy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Tracy, is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, so we're talking about the steps to healing. So first of all, it's to identify what's happening. Why do we need healing? Something's happened, like they're not feeling well, they feel stuck, they're stressed, tired. And then some things are what we call, it's like treating the symptoms or the disease. Others, it's just a pattern. Something keeps repeating and people are not okay. They want to choose a better way of life. So it's identifying that first, then having tools or ways to unblock this so the flow of the natural body's system can, what we call self-regulate, come back to balance. And then they can get back to where they were.
Peggy mentioned something which I think is worthwhile people hearing, and maybe just to define it first. Microbiome. What is it and why is it important? I'm not sure if everyone heard it. So,
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yes, because of
I'm
the
the only one listening
toxicity.
So yes. How would you define microbiome? Why is it important, and what impacts it?
Well, we have so many different microbiomes. We have a different microbiome on the skin, as in our gut or in our mouth. So we walking bacteria practically and fungi, they are all part of our cells. And we know how many things disrupting these microbiomes, and there starts often disease. When we talk about parasites in the gut, of course, or bacterial overgrowth, it's so common nowadays. Because through our foods or our things what we're eating or the medication we take, what disrupts these microbiomes. Or just use Listerine mouthwash every day, you destroy your whole microbiome in your mouth. These are little things, but most people doing this. So and there we see starting diseases a lot, because if this microbiome is not healthy, it means it doesn't defend from bacteria or other invaders, and then the pathogens growing. So we...
So then this microbiome, as you mentioned, is bacteria in the gut, on the skin, in the mouth, and and I guess if this microbiome is out of balance, then it kind of leaves us susceptible for certain things to come in, right?
Yes.
And if we do things, who here actually, tell the truth, people, who here still uses Listerine? Put your hand up. Let's have a look. People here are either remarkably adept or they're not. There, dear, there you go. Dear, don't use Listerine anymore, right? So then we have these, again, it's what mass media tells us, right? Listerine, wash your mouth, spit it out, feels all clean, right? Now you're good to go. But what it doesn't tell you, as you mentioned, is that, but you're kind of killing your microbiome, which is kind of essential for your life. Absolutely. And you need it, right? So how about cultivating the balance as opposed to killing it all, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. And dear, thanks for being honest, darling. Other people here, they're not telling the truth. We know that. It's okay. You're the brave one here. We know that. It's okay. All right. So next question is about testing. So what testing is available and why is it important? They're pointing at Peggy, the PP. Point at Peggy.
Well, that was also a big journey to figure out how can we do actually medical testings in Bali. And back then, there was a local laboratory that do all the medical standard tests, blood tests, stool tests, urine tests, but this was very basic. So I had to find over the years other laboratories to collaborate with. So we collaborate with a lab in Australia where we can do microbiome testing, for example. So stool testing, comprehensive stool testing. We can do neurotransmitter testing or testing on mold toxicity. All this tests bit out of the heavy metal testing, all these things. So we're collaborating with a couple of labs outside of Bali, but also inside. What we have here is already pretty good. And the main laboratory is called Protea here. They would always come to me, do you need other testings, what we should add? So they're really nice. Actually, it's really great, yeah. But this is important to test certain markers sometimes. We cannot just think about, maybe this person has this and this. So it's quite important to have some pathology testings and other metabolic markers, these things, and I personally do live blood analysis in 30 years, so I'm totally microscopic fan. So I'm sitting every day and analyzes everything. So for me, I see a lot from this already, because this my first consultation includes this, and I can scan already pretty much what's going on. And then I go very specific. Say if we see a lot of toxins in the blood, obviously we do a heavy metal test. If we see, there's something on the liver's not right, so we can really specific go further in testing. But it is already specific. So. Yeah.
And just as you know, I'm not a health professional. I like to call myself like the man on the street, right? So that's why I like to simplify things. So not only you understand, so I understand. Because if I can understand, usually I'm not the brightest guy in the room, which I'm happy with. Then if I can understand, then you can understand. If you can understand, it means you come along for the ride, right? And so one of the things which I've kind of picked up over these 26 episodes that we've done already is just, so here, this West meets East model that we spoke about before, there are so many tests in hospitals and special places that you can do that really, I guess, are the same, and Tracy's mentioned this before, that you get in Australia and these other countries that people somehow thought in the beginning were more advanced or something. Not necessarily true. And so, and if you can have the peace of mind that, I'm not testing for someone's aura, which is legitimate. I don't want to bag anyone who's aura testing, but maybe it might be difficult to test that scientifically, hard science, right? Whereas these other tests that have been mentioned tonight and what we've mentioned over the past 26 episodes are very hard science-based. So the diagnosis, you know exactly what's going on in your body. And as you mentioned, you spend most time looking at a microscope. I love that, right? So live blood analysis, so all of these hard tests, Western medicine science, then gives that diagnosis, right? And then as we said before, then how you treat that, Health at Bali, helping local government to upgrade all of these things is, I can choose a Western method, I can choose the Eastern method, I can choose a synthesis or a combination of the two. Makes it extremely powerful. Okay, Tracy.
So what we're looking for is patterns as well and indicators. So certain blood tests, they may not say they're not a diagnosis, but they're an indicator. If you don't do something, this will happen. So that's what's nice about having practitioners who understand this. Here we've got in our group ones attending that are looking at not just within a broad range, the blood work. This is the normal pathology, but in the highest. You want to go for the highest, and then over a period of time, you'll see the differences, and when things dip, for that person, you can start personalising, because everything's about the science, personalising, and we're preventative. It's life medicine we're talking about.
Over to you, Kai, to add to that, if you'd like to.
Yeah, it's more just not on the testing side, because I don't do any testing in terms of the practical side, but there is a way that we work with muscle checking or priority-based testing, which can take all the data and find out what is actually the priority sequence the body needs to approach that treatment protocol in. So one thing that really changed the way that I worked as a facilitator was learning about priority-based muscle checking, because you can have a bunch of data. Let's say I'm looking at something physiological, so maybe I want to help someone with a headache. And if I'm approaching it from one lens, which could be osteopathic or massage, looking at structure, I'll have 6 or 8 different points that I could start with. How do I know where to begin? Well, the body, if you create a feedback system with the body, it will tell you. And this comes from applied kinesiology, but it will tell you start on the left knee. Okay, I have 6 parts to start on, but the priority is their left knee. So what that means is this is the first point in the procedure. And by knowing that, we can take all the data and we can specialize and individualize the treatment protocol to the person's body. And it takes it out of a diagnostic model and into really a client-led journey. So I think that's a really unique thing that comes out of applied kinesiology. And if we apply that to testing, if we have the information already, and we can use that with the specific person, we can really specialize their protocol. And I've seen patterns that you won't find any other way, because like in your mind, you get trained a certain way. Okay, this structural thing has this, the base is off, so you have to treat that first. Sometimes it's as weird as you have to like do this release in their nose and their toe is gonna change. But you will never think that unless you go through priority and you go, okay, you have to do their nose first. So that's a really interesting thing that I'm not sure, it's not really integrated in modern medicine, but if it was, it's more on the alternative health side, but if it was, you could take all of the information and make it more personalized. So that's what I have to share about testing, not just from a baseline perspective, but from an individual perspective, testing the protocol and testing the priority sequence. Yeah.
So why it's essential is that instead of going in random and just people coming and doing retreats and detoxing randomly, we call them medically informed retreats. And then people coming to Bali can get this testing model, not just a normal checkup, and then we can have apply it through whatever is available to reset and restore health. On another note, what I want to say is that with science and technology at the moment, even with the biome, there's AI information that we can just bring it back into balance and then they can get on with their life.
Wonderful. All right, so checking in with the audience here. Everyone's doing okay? Yeah, good. It's right, you wanted to scream, because if you scream, then the information will fall out of your ear. All right, so in about 5 minutes, we're going to come to you for questions, right? So we'll take the microphone in Kai's hand. That will go out to you in about 5 minutes. That will go out to you. So if you have any question, either write it down, put it on your phone, or just remember the question, people. Remember as well that, yeah, there's a bunch of people here, and not everybody, feels confident to ask a question on the microphone, maybe because they know they're going to be on camera. A few people here like, on camera? So if you are one of those people that you know you have a question and you're not sure, ask, because you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping another person who definitely won't ask, all right? So just think about that. So last question at the moment is about treatment options for optimal wellness. So treatment options for optimal wellness. I'm looking at you. I know. Our guest of honor, because everyone else has been on the show. It's like, go to Peggy. So Peggy, over to you.
To me.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I mentioned this already, because this is the individuality in it, that we have to see what this person at this moment needs. This is what we read, and I think what also kinesiology can tell us. I do this too. I just mentioned more the conventional testing, but generally we can find out in a first consultation what is needed, and then we can create a package for this person and pick up always again and again, how is the person doing? Do we need to change the package? We might be, in most cases we have to, because it's a journey of healing. So we start with maybe acupuncture and Chinese herbs to hormone or to balance the hormones, and this after 2 months the person is so much better on this, and then we seeing Mel now she needs some emotional healing or he. So that's a duality on so many different levels, and that's why I created the center, to have all these people there and we can speak to each other and say, oh, this person, let's have some sessions and help to the next level. So it's a healing journey, It's and you start somewhere and you end up somewhere else, but you never were thinking of. So it's a kind, once you give in and you open up and heal on all different levels, that's the most beautiful thing. Yeah.
While you were talking, a question came into my head. It's a shocking question, Peggy. Shocking question, but not necessarily for you, right? So this isn't it, by the way, but I just want to check. So in the audience, who here has seen a practitioner of anything in Bali, raise your hand. Seen a practitioner, also a doctor. Raise your hand high. It's okay. I'm not going to pick on you. I mean, I'm going to pick on you. Okay. Good. All right. Good. So my question is this, right? So yes, Health Hub Bali has a wonderful, network of practitioners which are all validated, and that's great. But let's say that I don't know anything about Health Hub Bali. Never heard of them. I've come to Bali. Maybe I'm not feeling very well. Right? I've looked at maybe an ad online, or maybe it's been, like a Instagram ad or a Facebook ad or something that someone else said, oh, go and see Dr. Blah Blah, right? Or not Dr. Blah Blah, or Dr. whatever it might be. Here's the question. How do they know that they're seeing the right person? Now, let me pre-frame that. Maybe they're not going to check their credentials to see that they're registered with whichever doctors' union in whichever country. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, just for you three here, what are some telltale signs that they're seeing the wrong person, right? Telltale signs that they're seeing the wrong person. What would they be? And if you can think of 1, 2, or 3, it's up to you. I'm looking at Kai, so you can wait, Peggy. Peggy's ready to answer. She's like, I've got this. So Kai, so what things come up for you personally that, hey, if you're seeing this, and this, or just this in the practitioner so-called that you're seeing, you might want to think twice about it. What would that be?
I'll speak from my own journey of becoming a practitioner where I made mistakes, because as I learned how to be a better facilitator or how to hold space better, my results dramatically improved. And I would say on the early part of the journey, you're coming from a diagnosis model. You're coming from a mindset of, I have the understanding and I'm going to do something to you. That is a very limited way of approaching, whereas when we start to make it a collaborative process with the person, we actually are getting the information from them, right? So it's not our knowledge, and it's their body, and our knowledge is just a resource. We're really letting their body guide the process. So that was a shift that I made where, from a more diagnostic model early on, you start to think, oh, I have the answers. Then you realize I don't have any answers. I just have knowledge or information. Your body is going to tell me what information it needs. So I use my mind as a resource, not as the director of the process. I let their body direct the process. So if they're coming from a model which is really not client-led, they're going to be limited, very limited in the process. They're just going to have limitations because sometimes the information is in the person. I may not have the information in me, but I can draw it from the person. So that's maximizing the synergistic dynamic of the relationship. The other interesting thing that developed over time was when you're not diagnostic and you just sit with someone, you can just feel what they're going through. And it's like a mother and a child. You just know when you're available to empathy, you just know what they need. So the intuition begins to be much more attuned. Over the years, you don't take 10 sessions to figure out where you need to start. You're just like, okay, I know I have to go here. So that's another thing, is that really great practitioners, they do have a lot of information, they have a lot of skill, but they're also very connected to the person. They know how to make a great connection because that's where the channel of information comes. And then the last one is they'll have systems. They'll have done so many sessions, like I've done over 8,000 sessions, and I can do
8,000 sessions.
Yeah.
Just want to let that one settle. Okay.
Yeah, I've done over 8,000, but in the time of a decade, I would say that every year I become 10 times more efficient. So I'm constantly systematizing my learnings, and I will spot patterns faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And so a person who is really going to be able to help another person has a very systemic approach, but they understand the problem, the sequence of the problem, and the sequence of the procedure. So, yeah. Is there anything else to add to that? What was the question again?
All right. The question is, pass the mic to Tracy.
All right.
All right. And then we'll come back. So the question was, You know, for people who've just arrived maybe or been here for a while, they don't know where to go, right? They go to the next place that they see, either referral or online, right, in general. What are some of the telltale signs from your own experience that, hey, you might want to reconsider the person that you're seeing? So you come up with some wonderful ones there, which is, you know, hey, you know, like if they're basically not paying attention to you and kind of just coming from, this is what you need, right? Yeah. And there's no integration, collaboration, communication, combination, maybe you want to think again. And then you draw some personal experiences along your journey about how you systematize things, and over the sessions that you've done, each time you become better and better at getting to the root cause of the issue, challenge, problem. Oh, there's one more. I knew it.
Okay, thanks for sharing your feedback. But the biggest thing is, the biggest limitation in a practitioner is having how can I word this? Okay, I'll say the biggest benefit to a practitioner is having a unified approach. Someone that understands how to work with the body, the mind, the emotions, and the nervous system, all. Those are going to be people that understand the different levels. If you have just one of the understandings, you're very limited. You're super limited to what you can work with, and therefore that person, again, in the sequence of events, yeah, maybe they have psychological problems, but it's a detox they need first. If you're holistic in your understanding, you will know that. You will refer them out, or you'll be able to do it yourself if you've studied the different modalities. So I would say that when someone is too limited in their approach, in the sense that they're not considering the other facets of the person, and
so what? Just to cut it straight through, you're saying that, like, if someone says it's my way is the way that works, nothing else works. It's my way.
Yeah,
right.
It's too small of a lens, and really I'll need to refer people out, or the majority of people that I work with will come to me because they've not gotten results anywhere else, and I'll have to identify that it's because this. You needed three things. Your mind and this emotional thing at the same time to release the tension in your nervous system, but you just went to this person. That modality won't work on its own. Yeah. And the other thing that's really important is, this was my own issue in healing. There's parts of our healing that we don't really allow to happen. When you have deep trauma, you don't really want to bring that up. And I had some deep trauma that I really only later realized I don't want to burden anyone with this. So I don't want to give this to a practitioner. I don't even want to speak about this. If I can't get a person to that point that they open up the very thing that they don't want to address, I can't really help them heal at the deepest level. So that's a very superficial approach. If my people are opening up things that they say, I've never told anyone this. I never thought I would even never thought I would even express that to another human being. That's a level in which you are able to access what's needed. And that's, if you're not getting there, then you need someone who can take you deeper.
Tracy.
Yeah, so
this
is why we're saying why Bali. This is the health journey in the different levels. So we have an entry point that's basic, what we call medicine, functional medicine, the testing, the educating and that. But this health journey, sometimes it's not something you can do on your own. That's why the new model, they're talking about having advocates, navigators, co-pilots. You know, depending how serious it is, you may need someone to sit on and listen to the doctors, because not one doctor can share that, and his experience and knowledge may be invaluable. And then it's about mapping that out.
So now, Peggy, I think you're in also an incredible position to answer this question outside of the holistic dentist. The dentist, where are you? Anyone here a dentist, holistic dentist? Checking. Not in this audience, fine. We'll do it next time. So the question, which was an ad hoc question, of course, is, so you've been here 19 years, and everyone here is extremely knowledgeable in what they've been doing. So what have you noticed for people that maybe have just come and have gone to the first person without really thinking or checking? What things have you seen that might be causes of concern for them to think twice about maybe seeing someone else instead?
Well, it's a difficult one in Bali. Generally, if people coming new to Bali, to get a map, where would I go? And of course, if you have an acute disease, you obviously go to the next hospital or doctor. Yeah. But of course, depend for acute diseases, it might sometimes work, but not for chronic issues. And that's the problem when people chronically ill or have more deeper other levels to heal, then they're obviously on the wrong place in the hospital. You know, and most doctors are working like in the Western medicine. They're not looking for healing. It's just a band-aid put on, and that's it. So people who really wants to heal and reach out further, they will search for this type of medicine. And they will find it, obviously. You know, it's just Bali is small. You just ask around, and people will give you answers. So it's... Is it not? Yes. So... You know, there is a network, there's a community, which is nice. This is existing, so we can actually be there for people. Of course, we need a lot more. I think there is not enough people there, and this is also because of the regulation thing. So for medical doctors from overseas, they're not allowed to work in Bali. Naturopathic doctor not allowed in Bali. So there's difficulties in the law, what keeps it a little bit limited. But you know, I feel always if people want to heal, they will find their journey and they will find their practitioner can help. And you start sometimes on maybe 3, 4, 5 wrong ones, better experience, and you go further in your journey. And they always find, you know, if you want, you will.
Thank you. And look, so we're going to go to questions, but just before that, so if we grab, is it already done? Hadis, if you grab the mic from Brother Kai, okay, we'll take that to the audience. Oh, sorry, could you pass yours to Tracy for a second? I forgot that Tracy was holding it. All right, so if you've got questions, raise your hand. Now, just one thing I want Tracy to comment on so people have the right idea here. So right now, what you're looking at is pretty much 4 expats from what I can see. We're in Bali, we're talking about health. On the show, there's been 27 of these. We've had plenty of Balinese doctors, practitioners. As I mentioned in the beginning of this, Dr. Patra, amazing fellow, is the chairman of Bali Medical Tourism Association. He's been on the show twice. I'm a Professor Gelga Wirasuta. There's been a lot. So tonight's panel, is notwithstanding that we are very much integrated into Bali. But Tracy, just while on that, how does things like USADA, maybe explain what it is so people don't actually know, USADA and traditional Balinese feed into this model, and Balinese, when it comes to the intelligence of Balinese traditional medicine and so on.
So what we're talking about is the future of health today, the journey of health. This is health. Medicine is a different subject. So we've got why we're saying Bali, and we're saying that to the world. We have the hospitals and the doctors that are upgrading. As an individual, it's more about the questions you ask them. So it's about us. Our thing here in Bali is being an epicenter for people to come to, that you can get information and have the time and space to start learning about your own body, and then being able to go to any practitioner and you ask the questions. They're the experts who have studied these subjects for 10, 20, 30 years, or associate professors. They're amazing. Whether Balinese or Indonesian, it's about the questions that we ask. And then when you have, say, like Dr. Pacha the last time, it says it's art and science. It's the art of healing. Bali is one of the places that we can explore and connect. We get the science, we have the baselines, and then apply the different treatments from all the different modalities, whether it be the Oriental, the Ayurvedic, or the USADA, which is traditional medicine. And we bring the body, we use these tools to bring it back into balance. But we've always got the West here. We're just getting a new hospital who will come on the show as well, the International Bali, Bali International Hospital as well, which are bringing teams from other countries as well, ready to start with the best equipment there, best testing equipment as well. So it's about joining together, and that's what Bali can offer that no other country's got, and that's what the other countries are asking for. Something that Singapore and Malaysia can't offer, it's what Bali's got to offer, and that's within our retreat programs in the hotels. Beyond the crisis, we can have other tools for healing, treatments, and make real health journeys so people can address the whole health model, not just fix up. That's what the hospital can do, but it's beyond that.
Whole health model. No, hold on to the mic. You, Tracy. Whole health model. Then we really will go to questions, I promise. Whole health model. What do you mean by that when you say it, so everyone can understand?
All right, then. Our body is whole. It's connected. You cannot separate one part from another part. So when something hurts, there's a reason why. So it's getting to that root cause. Normally our body's frantically trying to do that. We've been overloaded, whether it's the toxins, the environment. We need to find out what is causing the disease, the dysregulation, and bring that into balance. Looking at all parts of the body, whole. The mental, the gut health, the structural, and the clinical, the pathogens.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, questions, people. All right, is that a hand up or are you scratching? You have to be careful here. It's like when you're in like, what is it, where you bid for things, you scratch your ear, that's a bid. So no scratching, don't scratch your ear again. All right, so you have a question down there, Renee? Okay, where's the microphone? Hadis, great. So remember, no question is too silly, right? If it is, we're going to make it sound intelligent anyway, that's fine, right? Remember, if it's not for you, it's for other people, all right? So if you have a question, please ask. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, give it 1 second. Yeah, you're on now.
Thank you very much. What I'm most interested in...
Closer.
What I'm most interested in this evening is the living blood. And I know that in Ubud you have quite a reputation. So I know a little bit about your background, but I don't know so much about the living blood. Can you give us like an ABC to it, and why is it so important? What are the incredible benefits that this has that other modalities don't?
Yeah. Thank you. So with live blood analysis, we take actually a drop from the finger and we observing the blood right away under the microscope. So we're observing the blood still alive. You can actually see the activity of your red blood cells, of your white blood cells, how they're working. Compared to a hematology, when we do at the laboratory, this blood count. So it's done only in a machine today that nobody looks in a microscope anymore. So they just count your cells. They count how many white, they specify them, they count the red blood cells. And as long as you're in the statistic range, you're supposed to be fine. The problem with this is they don't take care what quality these cells have. Especially with the white blood cells, we want to see that they're actually working, that they're active, that we can see your immune system is working well. Same with the red blood cells. You can have damaged red blood cells. Maybe you have seen an image that red blood cells all stuck together to each other. We call this Roleo formation. So we're observing the blood practically really alive, and we can see all these microorganisms all active, because there's a lot of life in our blood, which we don't think. Everybody says our blood is sterile, which is not right. So we're observing all these microorganisms, and of course you can see parasites. You can see if certain organs in the body doesn't work well. Yeah, if you have something with your kidney or with your liver, and you can see toxic buildup in the blood. So you can read a lot from a live blood, actually. Yeah.
Great question, Renee.
Yeah.
Any follow-up? Yeah?
Well, how can you tell the organs, like what's going on with the liver and what's going on, what are you looking for? The kidney?
Should have some images here.
All right, so next time you're on the show, Peggy, we're going to have a screen behind us, and we're going to look live blood analysis, people. It's going to happen next time.
Yeah, so certain organs, say if you have a problem with your liver gallbladder, the bilirubin builds up in your blood. We can also measure this in a normal blood test, but we see the bilirubin in the blood as an orange-brown color, which shouldn't be there, but it's there because there is a buildup, and the bilirubin doesn't go out in your stool, so it builds up in the blood. So we get certain sometimes build-up of materials from certain organs. We know the liver makes this picture, the kidneys is this problem, pancreas. So it depends what organ it is. It creates a build-up in your blood. And this is what we're observing.
So that's the bile, yeah?
Yeah.
Who studied biology here? Just raise your hand. I just want to see. Raise it hand higher, people. Don't just put it up. So 1, yeah, 2. Who else studied biology? Okay, cool. I love biology. I really get into it. That's probably why I love this. Okay, next question. There's more questions. Come on, I know you're there. There you go. Thank you very much. Give us about 2 seconds while Guz pushes a button so we can hear you. Yeah.
So a question that came up for me was, are these facilities available? How available are these facilities for local Balinese people who might not have the kind of money that a lot of Westerners have?
Great question.
Yeah, great question. So we in our clinic doing it this way that we are treating locally for free. So we give actually free treatments. And of course, there are a lot of Balinese, they have more money than I have, but usually you have to differentiate a little bit, but say normal Balinese standard people, we would offer for free. Or we have many people, they come to us and say, my pembantu, my maid is sick, can she come? And so we help in this case, yeah, we do.
Amazing.
Great question.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Tracy's going to... So while Tracy's about to add to that, who else has a question? Just raise your hand. Don't thank you, my brother. I was going to pick on you, not that you can't handle it. The guy's fit than me. Jesus. There you go. All right, so Tracy.
No, just another answer for this. There's about 6,000 doctors in Bali.
6,000?
6,000. And we're, at the moment, the governor and the system here in Bali, they're really looking at integrating USADA in the hospitals. So already now we have the opportunity to support them and to upgrade all this too, that they can have care that's more integrated.
And look, Tracy, just while you're there, before his question, can you just quickly give us maybe a few words on how Health Hub Bali is assisting the integration of this Bali medical tourism model here, integrative model in Bali?
It's a lot to do with the legals on everything, also the standards in the hospital. We talk about the human body and its microbiome. Hospitals have a flora as well, from the diseases, from infectious disease in there. We have expats here that are specialists in this from other countries, and they're going in now, we're putting a plan together, which has not done in many countries, but these are Russians, and they can see what's resistant to the diseases, or I don't know how to explain it, they're microbiologists. So we can do these surveillance systems and upgrade what's happening in the hospitals and the surgery areas as well. That's one thing. The other thing is getting research papers, clinical trials from outside. That's part of Health Hub Global that can work with USADA, that we can show the science behind these and do the guide them how to do that. We've got 2 factors. We've got Bali, but we've also got Central Java, and we've got the health department, tourism department in Java, plus we've got Bali. So it's also integrating these 2. So, yeah, daily there are meetings that we can pull something together that can actually, what we say, from Health Hub's perspective, we want things cost-effective, systemic and sustainable for people. So even when they go home, we've got experts all over the world now that have lived here, that have online programs that can help guide people to better health.
And look, just one quick thing before we go to you, my brother, is, also, I mean, Health Hub is this bridge between government, right? Government, and also a bridge, entrepreneurism. So, for example, earlier on today, a gentleman here I've known for a little while, we just got talking, and he is, I believe, the distributor for this quite a unique hydrogen water system. Right? It's in a bottle. It's like he said to me, he was selling me, and it worked. He goes, if Apple made a hydrogen water system, it would look like this. And he was right. This thing looks beautiful. It's partly frequency, and there's magnetic on the bottom. So magnets on the bottom, frequency on the top. Anyway, I won't go into it further, but the point is that as soon as I met him, I was like, you got to meet Tracy, right? So I said, it's okay if I share this? Yes, it is. So then he meets Tracy. I don't know what's going to happen from here on in, but the point is that that's what Health Hub is really good for. So if you have an idea or a product or a service, or you're a foreign doctor that wants to practice in Indonesia, but you're getting stuck in loops and things like that, that's also what Health Hub Bali is for. Because Health Hub Bali has partners which are legal experts, which have been dealing with government in these matters for a long time. So also, we're here tonight with some wonderful practitioners, right? Welcome, Peggy, right? Some wonderful practitioners, but there's also a pretty hard aspect to Health Hub as well, which is behind the scenes doing the hard work on that level of systemization, on that level of legal, legitimate, and credible, right? Using lawyers, legal practitioners, legal experts, also finding ways to bring products into the country. So again, there's a whole nother ecosystem that's around here. So just, I guess, putting out a little message that if you're in that position, don't be afraid to pick up the phone or to send Tracy a message at Health Hub Bali. You can do it online, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. Very responsive to messages to help with this sort of thing as well. To your question, my brother. Just wait for a second. Yeah, they're going to mic you up.
Okay, I'll direct this question towards Peggy. A couple days ago, I met Tracy for the first time, and it's the first time I heard this about heavy metals. Now, I didn't want to interrupt her because she was on a roll, so I just left it. But to me, heavy metal is, Metallica, Black Sabbath, and so I've really got like kind of a three-prong, question. What is it? How do you test it, and what do you do about it?
Good question. So what is it? Yeah, there's some metals like aluminum, mercury, arsenic, we found in a lot of people, cadmium. So this is when we do a hair mineral analysis to clarify how much toxins has built up in your system pretty much since you're born. Because you have to expect every day you are in pollution, you inhale, especially here riding your bike on the streets. So there's a lot of toxins going in our bodies through pollution, through water, through food. So cosmetics, paints, everything is toxic. So, and this will accumulate in your system, especially in the fatty tissues. So the highest accumulation of toxins we find actually in the brain, in our glands, and in our organs. And of course, not so good if aluminum builds up in your brain. There's always linked to dementia as well. So we test people on it, and usually we will see, depend how high the levels is what we can do. We do different modalities. You can take toxin binding supplements like zeolite, chlorella, activated charcoal, fulvic acid, There are certain toxin binders, which I would say we have to take everyone every day because you can't avoid being exposed, yeah? And then we use herbs like cilantro, for example. Cilantro is a great herb what detox the body on a deeper level from the organs. Yeah. Then there are other things like chelation therapy, which we do intravenously. So we give high-dose vitamin C with EDTA as a drip. And the EDTA, you can say it's like a magnet that binds to the toxins, and then you pee them out. So there are different modalities. We're looking at a new method now from Switzerland, which is actually very exciting. To get to Bali, we're in the legal process of getting the FDA license. It's called ionospherase. It's a system where your blood will be filtered through a machine, so it goes out here in back there. And the system filters out all microplastics, all pesticides, insecticides, heavy metals. So it's an amazing system, available at the moment only in Switzerland, but it will move to Asia soon. So I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about it. It's the first time I heard of it. I think they're pretty excited too, but they're just keeping it under wraps.
Right.
But they're excited. I can tell they're excited.
Because it's a long process to detox these metals from the body. Usually it takes months or years. So it's not happening overnight or in a 1-week detox retreat. It's not happening. But this new system, you just need 2 treatments and it's done. Yeah.
I mean, we would all be full of
Yeah.
these heavy metals, and the older you are, like
Absolutely.
me, all those years of accumulating all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's not only this, it's glyphosate, it's other things. They're really bad to our health. Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you very much.
Listen, what you just did is exactly what I love, right? Because, you called it out. There's probably other people here who maybe didn't raise their hand because they didn't want to, feel a certain way, who didn't realize or know what heavy metal was. Yeah, no, but listen, but that's the whole point, right? Because if like, again, Tracy sends me what's going to happen in this particular month, then we go through it, and sometimes I pick her up on certain things and say, Tracy, what does this word mean? Oh, it means da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, well, if you don't make that word for people to really actually understand without being in the industry for practitioners only, you lose people. Because it's like, if I read, subluxation, right, morphogenic field, what the heck? I'm already out the door. Beam me up, Scotty, right? So if you can make it, on a level that people can understand, preferably the person in the room that needs to hear it most, then I think we can take people with us. It's more understandable. And if you understand, then you're able then to make better decisions, right? So that's why I really appreciate you asking that question.
Can I say something
Yeah,
too?
of course. We'll get the microphone back over here now, guys. Yeah, to
all
Makai.
right. It's about the heavy metals and why it's so important. Because what happens is with our detox, what we call detox pathways, our normal body in the past would have just cleared these things out. Some people have, what do you call it? It's not very good.
DNA mutations?
Yeah, like DNA. Yeah, we didn't talk about DNA mutations either. But the bottom line is our body is water and minerals. We have a little bit of arsenic, we have a little bit of all these things, but it's when it's out of balance. And they're all indicators when they're out of balance as well. But the issue is when you have stress on top of it, if you were to open up any of the tumour lumps, it's not about cancer and that, it's about things not, breaking down. And that's when these lumps cause, and if you open them up, they'll be full of these things that couldn't get out of your body. It's a protective mechanism, really.
Right. Okay, so what we're going to do is that if we grab that microphone back, Hadis, to Brother Kai, so we're probably going to begin to wrap up now. So how we do that is, okay, so I'm going to have one last question for everybody here, which will be something like, not just my question, look at the title, Connecting Your Journey to Health. I've forgotten the title. So connecting your journey to health, is there anything, in about 2 minutes, right? So is there anything else on the line of that topic that you'd like to say? Now, that might be reiterating something that you've said already, or it might be something completely like DNA, right? That you maybe haven't spoken about yet, that you think, hey, I want to leave people with this, right? So you've got about 2 minutes to think of what that is, and we'll go in reverse order. We'll go Kai, Peggy, and Tracy. Unless Tracy, you don't want to go last, do you? You want to go last? Yeah. Great, awesome, cool. So we'll go Kai, Peggy, and then we'll go Tracy last. So until that time, I just want to thank the audience that came here. Great to see your beautiful faces, people, right? And I know that each week we do this, each month, I learn something new, So sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. I'll say it for the last time, subluxation, morphogenic field, right? So we learn these new things, but if there's one thing that hit you, that's the thing to take away with you. Don't try and remember everything, because you can watch this on replay anyway, right? So if you can take one thing with you, what would that thing be from tonight? That's a really kind of valuable exercise to go through, because then it keeps it fresh in your mind. But anyway, I want to thank you for coming, because it's really great to see you all here. I want to thank our brothers and sisters, also at Tropical Nomad, Brother Guzman over here, Hadis, wherever he is, and Sister Ayu, wherever she is. Just want to thank you, because again, this is a collaboration. The last 244 episodes have been filmed here, of 424. So it's really key, because this collaboration helps everyone to look good, smell good, maybe. I'm not sure if you can see that on TV. Look good at least, and sound good. And that's really crucial and key. I want to thank Tracy, Health Up Bali. We've been friends for quite a while now, Trace. And I think we've gotten used to each other now. And we work together, and we do this initiative together. But she's at the core of it, right? So if you do get the chance to speak to her, please do. She's a wonderful woman and is doing some incredible things. What a great contribution that you've made over the last 10 years to Bali. Sister Peggy, you're now a sister, as I mentioned. What a great contribution you've made. I've really enjoyed having you sit next to me, but by the way, like, I don't know, like there's something here, some chemistry going on. It's good, I like it, it's good. Brother Kai, always great to see you, my brother. We've known each other for quite some time. Did men's groups together where we co-led, and this is one amazing fellow. So, I think that's pretty much it for me. We'll see you here. Remember, next week, always check out SpeakuP Monday. There's a QR code over there somewhere if you want to join the group, if you haven't done so. And otherwise, look online. You'll see what's coming. Next week is all about NFT Bali. So we're in the the blockchain Web3 space with the founder, Tyrone Williams, this very tall chap who's Australian and Indonesian mix. He's a great guy. NFT Bali is very powerful month, 15 days to a month, for some of the best minds in Web3 from around ASEAN to come together and spend time together to ideate, to connect, to network. So if you're interested in blockchain, Web3, come next week. If you're not, don't come. Right? I'm just being honest. Okay, what else? I think that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now then is, so we'll put it back to our panel. Again, thank you, Brother Kai, Sister Tracy, Sister Peggy. So we're going to hear this from you now. Any closing thoughts that either reiterate what you've said already or, something that you really wanted to say or comes in now as being important, feel free to do it. Then after that, everyone here, we're going to have a photo. And it's going to be cool, right? And Hadis will take it, so remember to stay. No one leaves, right? Okay. Brother Kai, over to you.
Yeah, I think I'll wrap up by just saying that it's really important to identify where you're at in your healing journey and to set up the right priority sequence. There, like information nowadays, the modalities are everywhere. Like they're at everyone's fingertips. Before, it was much more difficult to gain access to all the different modalities, but now what's lacking is a person's individual ability to find what they need and identify where they are. So I don't know exactly if it's something that Health Hub Bali has in plan, but there is a need for people to be able to communicate with someone. Maybe it's AI in the future that identifies really where they're at, right, based on their baselines, and what are the modalities that they need in the right sequence. And I think when we can do that, then people will actually have individualized health. Right now, it's just your version of individualized health is dependent on how well you can find the right practitioners. So there needs to be a place that can guide and direct that journey, because not many people have the understanding or the knowledge to be able to do that for themselves. And that's the biggest obstacle. Everything is out there. So, yeah.
Peggy, to you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You picked me up on the DNA. I just want to throw it out. Because there's also pretty new in the field of medicine that we actually do DNA testings with patients more and more to find mutations on certain DNA snaps, they're called. So, and we all have mutations, to understand health even to a deeper level. How can we actually support a body individual if you got a mutation on your MTHFR genes, for example? So we know what to do. How can we optimize health and preventing also disease by actually looking in someone's DNA? Also, we have the specific now DNA nutrigenomics test where you can absolutely see how much you vitamin B12 need or omega-3, 6, 9. So that's very individual. We cannot say we should be all vegan or vegetarian. This would be totally wrong. We have really to look in individual people's DNA to see what their need is, how much amino acids you need, how much fat you need, how much carbs you need. This is very individual. And of course, if someone comes on the test with a high need for vitamin B12, I wouldn't suggest a vegan diet, that goes wrong. So we can do already really individual stuff, and I think this is so exciting to get more understanding of your body and how can you optimize your health and prevent diseases, because if you live your life like you eat the things you're supposed to eat, you take maybe some extra supplements because your need is very high, you cannot get anything, So that's another thing what I'm also would suggest people they're looking really for deeper understanding of their body and health.
Wonderful, Peggy. Thank you. Sister Tracy.
I say goodbye and thank you for coming today. Connecting the journey to better health. Just to be clear, that's what Health Hub's about. We're about bridging gaps. And it doesn't matter if it's in a practitioner's knowledge or for the patient's journey. It's about where there are gaps, and it's all here. There's a banquet. And we can bring it all together to make it complete, integrated, and make things whole so they can have a whole health journey.
Sister Peggy, Brother Kai, Sister Tracy, thank you very much for everybody. Round of applause. See you next week. Thank you.